Have you ever noticed something interesting about people in their 70s and 80s? Some of them seem calm, peaceful, and quietly content with life. Even when things are not perfect, they carry a sense of emotional balance and gratitude. Yet others around the same age often feel overwhelmed by worry, loneliness, or regret. Why does this happen? Is happiness simply something that some people are lucky to have? Or is there something happening inside the mind that makes the difference? The truth may surprise you. Even after the age of 70, the human brain still has an amazing ability to change how it experiences life. Scientists have discovered that our thoughts shape our emotions more than we often realize. Small mental habits can quietly influence how peaceful or heavy our daily life feels. In fact, sometimes a tiny shift in thinking can instantly soften worry, reduce sadness, and bring a gentle sense of calm. Today, we will explore 5 simple brain tricks that can help you feel happier after the age of 70. These are not complicated techniques. They are gentle ways of guiding your mind toward peace, appreciation, and emotional comfort. And sometimes, the smallest changes inside the mind can make the biggest difference in how we experience life. Let's begin with the first one. Brain trick number 1. Train your mind to notice small joys. As people grow older, the brain can sometimes develop a habit of focusing on what feels difficult. Perhaps the body feels slower than it once did. Maybe certain friends or loved ones are no longer around. Maybe the world feels louder, faster, or more complicated than before. When these thoughts repeat often, the mind slowly begins to see life through a lens of loss rather than appreciation. But something very important happens when we begin to shift our attention. The brain naturally strengthens whatever we focus on most. If we focus on problems, the brain becomes very skilled at noticing more problems. But if we train our mind to notice small joys, the brain gradually becomes better at finding happiness. For example, imagine starting your morning and asking yourself a gentle question. What is one small thing that feels good right now? Perhaps the warmth of sunlight is entering the room. Perhaps the quiet comfort of your favorite chair brings a feeling of peace. Perhaps the taste of tea or coffee reminds you of a simple daily pleasure. These small moments may seem ordinary, but they carry quiet beauty. When you pause to notice them, your brain begins to register them as meaningful experiences. Over time, this practice slowly retrains the mind. Instead of automatically focusing on problems, the brain begins to recognize the small blessings that still exist in everyday life. Many people discover that happiness after 70 often lives in these quiet, simple moments. And the more you notice them, the more they begin to appear. Brain trick number 2. Replace what-if thoughts with what is. Another common habit that affects happiness later in life is worrying about the future. The mind sometimes begins asking questions like, what if my health becomes worse? What if I become dependent on others? What if something unexpected happens tomorrow? These thoughts are completely natural. The brain often tries to protect us by imagining possible difficulties. However, the problem is that what-if thinking pulls our attention away from the peace of the present moment. It creates stress about events that may never happen. One helpful mental shift is learning to gently replace what-if thoughts with what is. What is thinking simply means returning your awareness to the present moment. Instead of imagining future problems, you quietly notice what is actually happening right now. You might remind yourself, at this moment, I am breathing calmly. At this moment, I am safe in this room. At this moment, my body is resting comfortably. These small reminders bring the mind back to reality rather than imagination. And very often, the present moment is far calmer than the future we fear. When the brain learns to focus on what is happening now, it begins to relax. The shoulders soften. The breathing becomes steady. The mind feels lighter. And slowly, a quiet sense of peace returns. Before we move on, I want to ask you a gentle question. What is one small thing that brought you comfort or happiness today? It could be something very simple: a quiet walk, a warm drink, a pleasant memory, or a short conversation with someone you care about. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may inspire someone else who is watching this video. And if this information is helping you, please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom Vault. Also, make sure you watch this video until the end, because the remaining points are just as important and may help protect your emotional well-being. Now let's continue. Brain trick number 3. Speak to yourself with the kindness you deserve. As the years pass, many people naturally look back at their lives. They remember the choices they made, the opportunities they had, and the paths they followed. Sometimes these reflections bring pride and gratitude, but sometimes they bring regret. The mind may quietly whisper things like, "I should have done better. I should have made different choices. I wasted time when I was younger." These thoughts can become surprisingly heavy. But here is something important to remember. No human life is perfect. Every person makes decisions based on the knowledge, emotions, and circumstances they had at that time. Imagine for a moment that a close friend came to you with these same regrets. Would you judge them harshly? Most likely, you would not. You would probably speak with compassion and understanding. You might say something like, "You did the best you could with what you knew." Life teaches us through experience. You still have value and wisdom today. This is the same kindness your own mind deserves. When regretful thoughts appear, gently respond with compassion rather than criticism. Remind yourself that your life was filled with effort, love, and learning. Self-kindness is not weakness. It is emotional wisdom. And when the brain hears compassionate thoughts, it begins to release tension and replace guilt with acceptance. Over time, this gentle practice can bring a surprising sense of emotional freedom. Brain trick number 4. Create small moments of purpose. One of the biggest emotional shifts after retirement is the change in daily structure. For many years, life was guided by schedules, responsibilities, and obligations. There were places to go, people to help, and tasks to complete. After retirement, that structure often disappears. The days may feel quieter and less defined. Sometimes this creates a feeling that something meaningful is missing. But purpose does not disappear with age. It simply becomes smaller, gentler, and more personal. Purpose can appear in the smallest daily actions. You might decide to water your plants each morning and watch them grow. You might take time to write stories from your life so younger family members can learn from them. You might call someone who lives alone and brighten their day with conversation. You might share wisdom with someone who needs guidance. Each of these small actions sends a powerful message to the brain. It says, "My presence still matters. I still contribute to the world." And when the brain feels useful and connected, it naturally produces feelings of satisfaction and emotional warmth. Purpose after 70 is not about doing more. It is about sharing the wisdom and kindness that only time can create. Brain trick number 5. End each day with gentle gratitude. The final brain trick is simple, peaceful, and deeply powerful. Before going to sleep each night, take a quiet moment to remember one good thing that happened during the day. It does not have to be something big or dramatic. Perhaps someone smiled at you. Perhaps you enjoyed a quiet walk. Perhaps you felt peaceful sitting outside in the fresh air. Allow your mind to gently revisit that moment. Feel the appreciation for it. Let the calmness of that memory settle into your thoughts before sleep. This small habit teaches the brain to end the day with gratitude instead of worry. Over time, the mind begins to collect these moments like small treasures. Instead of feeling that days pass by unnoticed, the brain begins to see life as a series of meaningful experiences. And slowly, this practice builds a deeper sense of happiness and contentment. Growing older does not mean happiness fades away. In many ways, happiness becomes simpler, quieter, and more meaningful. It appears in peaceful moments, kind thoughts, and small daily experiences. Today, we explored 5 simple brain tricks that can help bring happiness after 70. First, train your mind to notice the small joys around you. Second, replace anxious what-if thoughts with calm awareness of the present moment. Third, speak to yourself with kindness and understanding. Fourth, create small moments of purpose that remind you your presence still matters. And finally, end each day with a gentle reflection of gratitude. These small habits may seem simple, but together they can slowly transform how the brain experiences everyday life. If this video brought you comfort, please take a moment to like it, share it with someone who may need encouragement, and subscribe to the Wisdom Vault. Because here, we believe wisdom, peace, and emotional strength can continue growing at every stage of life. And remember this gentle truth: no matter your age, the mind still has the beautiful ability to choose peace. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.